Festivals are important to Christians as they remind them of key events within their faith. Christian festivals and events are shown on a calendar called the liturgical calendar, which is colour-coded to help Christians remember different seasons in their celebrations. The dates for festivals change year to year, so the calendar is divided into seasons rather than months. The liturgical calendar begins with the season of Advent, which means the coming, and it counts down the weeks in the lead up to Jesus' birth at Christmas. It begins on the fourth Sunday before Christmas and ends on Christmas Eve, and it's a time for Christians to look forward to the celebration of the birth of Jesus and to reflect on the sacred nature of Christmas. Advent is usually represented by the colour purple in the liturgical calendar to show royalty, but it's sometimes shown as blue to represent hope. Some churches mark Advent with an Advent wreath, where in the lead up to Christmas, a candle is lit and at each stage a different reading is shared to reflect on elements of the Christmas story. The season of Advent ends with one of the most important festivals in the Christian calendar, which is Christmas, to mark the incarnation of Jesus coming to earth in human form. It lasts 12 days and ends with the Feast of the Epiphany, which remembers the wise men. And you can read these birth accounts in the Gospels of Matthew and in Luke in the New Testament. Christmas is a time for Christians to reflect on their belief that Jesus is the light of the world and that he brings peace. So they might light candles, make Christingles, and also pray for peace to be found on earth. Christians would often read the Bible, they would share gifts with each other to remember God's gift to them in Jesus, and often sing Christmas carols too. Perhaps the most important festival in the Christian calendar is the celebration of Easter, which remembers the events of Holy Week, starting with Jesus' entry to Jerusalem on Palm Sunday, Jesus' crucifixion on Good Friday, and his resurrection on Easter Sunday. It's called Good Friday because Christians remember Jesus' sacrifice rather than mourn his death. Easter celebrations vary according to denominations, and in the Orthodox Christian Church it would begin with a Good Friday vigil, a service to ask for forgiveness and reflect on Jesus' sacrifice. The Saturday night, the Easter Sunday service begins at midnight in darkness to show the tomb, and then candles are lit to show the resurrection light. Catholics and Anglicans might too have a Saturday night visual service that begins in darkness. Paschal candles are lit, so an Easter candle is lit and communion is also served. Churches are often decorated with lilies, a symbol of purity to remember Mary, and celebrations around food are shared too, often involving roast lamb. An important message of the Easter story is the Christian belief in resurrection. St. Paul, in the New Testament writing to the church in Corinth, says that if the dead are not raised, then Christ has not been raised either. So there's this belief that for Christians, because Jesus has conquered death, they too will be given eternal life in heaven. Whilst all Christians believe in some concept of the afterlife, there are different interpretations as to what that resurrection will be like, partly due to the quote found in 1 Corinthians 15:52, where Paul claims the dead will be raised imperishable and we will all be changed. Paul says that we will be changed, and for some Christians this implies that we will be raised again and given a new physical body, and that's what will live for eternity. For other Christians, because of that term imperishable, they suggest it means it's a spiritual resurrection only, whereby your soul continues but your body dies. A very brief knowledge check to finish. Firstly, what is the liturgical calendar? And secondly, can you give 3 reasons Christians celebrate Christmas? Thirdly, how do Orthodox Christians celebrate Easter? And fourthly, why do some Christians believe that the resurrection is spiritual rather than physical?